let's start off with a little bit of some numbers, actually. First thing here is to say that Qt is actually becoming more and more popular. We have seen that we are getting really lots of downloads of the product. We've had 2.7 million downloads of Qt since we released Qt 5.2. That's a pretty big number, and I'm really happy to see that. Also, if you look at the numbers, you see that there's a race between 5.2 and 5.3. Things are going up. Happy to see that. We're seeing that the Qt usage is growing, and as you know, that also basically adds to what Kalle has been saying. Qt is very much alive, and it's actually growing. We're seeing a lot of interest in the industry for it. Another piece of statistics here maybe to mention is that if you look a little bit at the distribution of the downloads, you still see that Windows is our predominant platform. Over half of the downloads are for Windows. But, Linux is actually a pretty strong contender, coming with around a quarter of the downloads. And then we have 17% of our downloads are for Mac. So you see that there's a big spread, and we really are cross-platform. Qt is being used in a cross-platform way. And something that you can also see from a report that comes, that we have here, where it shows the average number of people that are using Qt. Or how they publish their applications with Qt. And you can see for different frameworks that with Qt, actually people publish their applications and deploy their applications to a very large number of platforms. Another piece to show is, and to look at is, it's a research that has been done. And you can see that also people are very happy with Qt and the quality of the applications that they're writing with Qt. Actually, this was a research looking at cross-platform tools and frameworks to do and write your application. Visual Studio is probably only there because it covers Windows and Windows Phone or something like that. I'm not quite sure. But what you can see is that, we're actually hitting the #1 spot. People are really happy about the quality of the applications that they develop with Qt. Let's see, is that working? Yes. And as another statistics, the time savings. How much time do you save when you write your application with Qt or with the cross-platform toolkit? And also there you see that Qt comes up, pretty much first. vPlay is using Qt. It is, to the largest extent, some extension to Qt and the Qt APIs. We're having, a large increase of productivity, time savings with Qt. And people seem to be really happy with it. So I'm, glad to see these kind of numbers. We've also managed to get, much more on the radar on different, with different analysts, publications. So Ovum put us on the radar, had a good story about Qt and the cross-platform development framework. And we got elected, into the software development times 100 best in show for software development in the frameworks and tools category. So I'm really happy about these things, and it shows that Qt also is getting the recognition that it deserves. Okay, now off to something else. One of the things we've been up to in the last months is actually a project which is about unifying our ecosystem. We have been looking into what has happened over the last year. We've been, during the late Nokia years, creating the Qt project and, creating the open governance model around Qt. It has been a great success. It's been a fantastic story that we've been doing there. But at the same time, due to some of the changes that happened when we were at Nokia, when we left Nokia, what happened, in fact, is actually that we split the ecosystem. We had, the commercial representation on QtDD14. We had the open source pieces on Qt project. We had 2 different sites where you could download Qt, 2 different packages for Qt. the story between both websites wasn't aligned, it wasn't consistent, and information was hard to find. If you Googled for certain classes in Qt up to some months ago, you would still go, the top hit would still be a Nokia site. We wanted to change that. And we believe that it's very important that we bring these things together again. Qt is one product. It's the same technology, and it has it's available under different licensing models. So we've started that project now, during the Qt Contributor Summit before summer, and you can see the first results of it now. So one of the things we wanted to have is one product. And that's where we're going to. It's available in different variants, open source, enterprise together. And we want to make it possible to also, then, more easily, have an upgrade path if people want to go from open source to enterprise. We want to help make, developers' life easier. And having one source of information, one product that you can download is actually doing that. And, one set of packages that you can download. Currently, you have a split thing. You can go get the open source packages. The enterprise packages are separately done. It's a lot of work and overhead for us to do that, to do two different set of packages, and it confuses all the people that want to use Qt, that want to start using it. So we want to have one set of packages. The packages, contains everything that you can get. You get all the components. If you have an enterprise license, you get all the additions that are there in the enterprise version. That's a good thing, and it simplifies your life there as well. It simplifies our life, and we can better test a smaller set of packages. We've also moved towards having one website. You've seen it probably, Qt.io. And this website we just launched 2 weeks ago, and it's work in progress. We have to say that. It's not finished. For now, it mainly replaces the content that we had in QtDD14. But our goal is broader. It's something that we want to do. We want to have one place where we have all information about Qt. The product information, the documentation, forums, bug reporting. Make it easy to find that information, make it easy to access that, and bring everything together, bring the community in there. So we want to represent the product and the ecosystem with one, website and one consistent story. And, of course, now speaking, for the company that employs me, we also want to represent, the enterprise offering in a good way in there. But it's important that this is a website, and our goal is to have this as a website for the ecosystem. And we want to be able to make sure that everybody who's part of that ecosystem gets its place and finds its place, proper place in that website. So you'll see more changes happening there over the next, months to come. And I hope you'll all like the website. You'll find it more easy to find all the information that you need to find and use it. Another change that has happened is the Qt company. You know me as working for Digia, most likely those that have met me or heard me before. And what we've done over the last couple of months, is actually that we basically are splitting out, and still a progress that's ongoing. We're actually, moving the Qt business, from Digia into its own wholly owned sub-entity. Digia is a company that does a lot of, consultancy. It has local products in Finland. It's a Finnish-based company, and we wanted to do this to emphasize that Qt is actually a global product, and that we have the focus, we have a company that focuses on Qt and its product development. This is what we want to do, develop Qt as a product further, and bring it and give it to every one of you. So, the changes are happening. You see it already in our booth downstairs. It's branded the new way. All of our people have already new business cards. We have new email addresses, at theqtcompany.com, which is fun. I like it. It's actually the first time ever that I'm working for a company which has the product that I'm working on in its name. That's a great thing. Happy about that. Okay, some more other announcements. One more thing that we'll be doing now, Qt 4.8. It's been around for a long time. It's been now a couple of years since we launched Qt 5.0. And so far we've been saying that we will support it for 2 years after 5.0 launched. These 2 years are ending now. But we're seeing that still a lot of people are still using Qt 4. And, we want to give you some more time to, make the move over to Qt 5. So we decided that we will support, commercially, but also, in the open source world, Qt 4 for 1 more year. We'll have most likely one more release of Qt 4.8, 4.8.7, coming probably sometime next year. And, you will still get all the support and everything that you need there. But, there's a but in there. The support will mainly be about, fixes to the security fixes, severe issues. We will not go in and do a larger effort to bring Qt and to fix all the glitches for Qt on new operating systems. So if you think about, Mac OS X 10.10, if you think about, Windows 10 or something like that, we will not do a whole lot of work to bring Qt there and to make it work flawlessly. So we encourage you now to take the step and use that year to move over to Qt 5. The move is actually not difficult, it's easy. And we've done a lot of work now also to fix issues in Qt 5, regressions that we had from Qt 4, to make that move hopefully simpler. Another product, that we announced last year is the Indie Mobile product. It's actually a subscription similar to the professional subscription that we already had for desktop and mobile. This one's for mobile, so Windows RT on, ARM, Windows Phone, iOS and Android, and it's relatively cheap. But it's targeted also at small enterprises. There's a revenue cap on it. If your company earns more money than that limit, which is around 100,000, I think, you cannot use that license. It's there to really help, the indie developers and give them an option to also get, a professional or a commercially licensed version of Qt. And as a last announcement, from the Qt company's side, you've probably seen that on your seats. There's a promotion now if you want to buy any, a subscription of Qt, whether that's the indie version or the professional version, you can get a nice discount if you have been here and you use the promo code. So that's it for me for the business side. And let's now move over into the technical things. And I want to start off talking a little bit about the technical pieces, trends in computing and what, our long-term vision with Qt is, what I believe it should be. This is, to a good degree, it's my thoughts, but I think, many of these things are reflected in the thinking inside, the Qt company, but also inside the ecosystem. Let's start off with some of the things that we know about. We know platform diversity. We've seen, that the world has moved from a nearly Windows monopoly, where Windows basically had most of the market share, to a world that, has a diverse set of platforms. This is basically, if you look here, there's a smartphone, and yes, that's dominated by Android these days, but still iOS is a pretty strong contender. But if you look at the general computing platforms, taking desktop, laptops, and phones, tablets together, you see that the world is much more split up. It's almost, 50% Android, then there's a big chunk of Windows, There's some stuff from Apple with Mac and so OS X and iOS. And there's other platforms that are not mentioned here. There's the whole world of embedded. So there's really a diverse set of platforms that are there in the market and that are being used. And it's important that we really, see that and cover that. There's also one trend that we're seeing is that the world is much more going towards multi-screen. People want to access the functionality, whatever that is, from different devices. They want to be able to use their laptop, then interchange that. Maybe you get their phone and tablet out, do something from there. Sometimes use their TV screen. They have the car, entertainment systems, and other things, wearables, and specialized devices. And actually, this is not only something that's happening in the consumer space, but we're seeing that this is also happening in some other, more industrial environments. For example, if you have an embedded device, there's many, companies that then, want to go to that device and control it from a tablet. Have access or remote access to it from the tablet, be able to steer it. These kind of things are happening all over the place. So one of the things that we believe is important for Qt in the future is that we will continue to support all relevant platforms. This is what we will be doing. We have been doing a lot of work over the last 2 years to bring Qt to all mobile platforms, Android, iOS, and then we've brought Qt also to Windows runtime, which will be the predominant API now for Windows 10 also. We've been doing that work and we will continue to do that work as new platforms emerge that we need to support and that are relevant for you. So, we will continue to support new platforms, but we will also continue to support new compilers, new operating system versions like, OS X Mavericks and others. We will support also new versions of the C++ standard. That's very clear to us. Once C++14, gets somewhere, is done, we will start, adding that support. And last but not least, as a big important piece, we will try to focus as much as we can on also fixing the severe issues or bigger bugs that we have in Qt. Let's be honest, we will never be able to fix all bugs. It's just too many. We have a large user base and, there's no such thing as a completely bug-free product. But we will focus on fixing the ones that really are severe, that don't have workarounds, that are security issues, all of these things. Another trend we're seeing is the application stores. They're growing also on the desktop. They're, a hard requirement on mobile. You can't really ship applications on mobile without going through the application stores. But they're being pushed on the desktop as well by Apple and Microsoft. Windows 10 and WinRT is all about, the Windows Store. And we're seeing that these numbers explode. So we need to do something, make that easy for you to get your applications, your Qt-based application also into app stores. Another piece we're seeing is that the time to market becomes more and more critical in many areas. I mean, in the mobile space, you have already seen a huge acceleration where things, the lifetime cycles of application are very, very fast. On the embedded space, things are still, much more, slowly moving. But we believe that this will also change over the years. It's important, to be faster than for you to be faster than your competition, to get out your product ahead of the others. And, this really means that we have to make sure that, that developing applications becomes as easy as possible. So one of the things and conclusions for us there is that we need to help cover more parts of the application lifecycle. So far, Qt has been mainly focusing on the development piece. We've been doing frameworks, we've been doing an IDE. But now we've started working also on, looking into the design part. We're looking into designers for QML. We've been doing the widget designer many years ago. And we're looking into that now, packaging and deployment, making that easier. But then, longer term, we probably also have to look at other pieces like, how do you get feedback from your customers? How do you analyze the data from your customers, your usage data, analytics a little bit? How do we work with maintenance? And, these are open areas, but I think this is something we will, in the long term, also need to focus on. We're seeing that embedded is really growing. You see that the market is growing actually relatively fast, and there's more and more embedded devices coming out. And actually, one important piece of them is more and more of those are actually getting screens. When embedded devices some years ago was about microcontrollers, nowadays it's often about a device that has a touch screen that people want to interact with directly. We're also seeing that devices get more and more connected. People are hooking them up to the internet. Maybe they have a Bluetooth interface, Bluetooth LE or something else. What you need is a simple to configure and flexible stack. There's people now, you see how the type of devices will grow that are, Internet of Things type of device. I know this is a buzzword, but I think many of these devices are actually now coming out and people are creating them. These devices then require ways to communicate to other devices. Machine-to-machine communication comes up, So, how do you handle that? What kind of common data protocols do you have? How do you discover other devices in your close by? And, there's a lot of issues there. What do you do with the data that you collect from these devices? How do you process that? What about security? Access control to these devices, authentication. What about, software updates, fixing security holes that get discovered after your device shipped? And how do you control and share the data? So these are big open questions. And for me, some of the conclusion is that we really need to make device creation faster and easier. We've been working on that with Qt Enterprise Embedded, Qt for device creation over the last year. And I think there's a lot of more work that needs to be done to make this really simple, to help, application developers. Because in the end, when you create a device, there's so many things that you need to look at. A complete stack is a very complex thing. And, I believe it's the job of, a company that does development frameworks of Qt as an ecosystem to try to make that easier for you. And we need to help you connect applications and devices together. We've done some work now with 5.4, for example, adding Bluetooth LE support. And there's more things we need to do there. And that I'm thinking about that we can do in the future. Things like zeroconf and DNS support to find the devices and other things. So there's work to be done here to make that simple for you. Maybe also, have, support for common data protocols that are being used, for the devices to talk between each other. I'm sorry. So, in terms of device creation, we really want to improve the productivity with professional tooling. We want to improve the Linux offering that we have, provide a more complete stack with easy to configure and tune. Maybe look at boot times, many other things that we can look at to make that easier. And then there's some ideas about how do we handle remote displays. I've been talking about that a little bit before. You want to use your tablet as a display for your embedded device. How can we make that easy? How can we stream maybe a UI to a different device? or connect to the device through a browser and then have the user interface go there in an easy way. And you can still do your user interface with Qt as you like it and as you are used to. These are ideas, things that are in research. Well, let's see what comes out of that. Another piece that's happening is the data storage and processing. What you're seeing is with all these devices coming, but also with other things, that there's a large growth, almost exponential, in the amount of data that gets gathered and received. And the data connection is usually something that happens distributed at different places. It's not only one machine. It might be several, small devices that collect some data. They're stored. Often that data is stored, then also in different places, in some clouds. And there's a lot of unknown questions right now. How do you connect with different, clouds that store data out there? How do you combine data from different sources? And then afterwards, once you got access to the data, how do you process it? How do you analyze? How do you combine it into something meaningful for the user? How do you visualize it? These are questions that I think, to a large extent still, require answers and require research to find out. And with data, there's another big piece that's also still, which we see that is very important, is the security. How do you store your data? Is it a cloud? Do you want to do something decentralized? And how do you keep the data safe? How do you encrypt the connection, encrypt the data, with whom and how do you share the data? So the topics of authentication and access control and, is very much there. You want also then, to have the availability to maybe avoid single points of failure, and you need to make sure that all your devices are safe and secure. So this is something where we haven't done a whole lot of work, but I believe in the long term, maybe not yet next year, maybe in 2 years, maybe next year, we don't know. We will need to do some work there and try to help make this easier. So there's research needs to go on, and I have no answers yet how and what kind of solutions there will be. And I'd be very happy for any input that you also have about what is it we should be doing? What are your requirements? What do you think you need? And if you give us that feedback back, then, hopefully we can create good solutions also in this area for you in the future. Okay, so this was a little bit about the long term, some of the things I think we need to focus on with Qt in the years to come. A lot of it is actually already happening. We have work in progress on some of these areas, but it will be a focus for us moving forward. We've done, with the last 2 years, our focus has been on extending the cross-platform story to cover all, operating systems again. This was something that we didn't have, 2 years ago. We're now there. We have that full coverage of the operating system space. We are able to reach out to pretty much any, computing platform that's out there. And I think now the next step again is to look at what kind of features do we need to make Qt, fit and attractive for the future. Okay, let's go on and now move over to a little bit more concrete items. What's happening right now? Not something that's happening next year or in 2 years, but what are we doing right now? What's coming with Qt 5.4, 5.5 with the next version of Qt Creator? When I show you the next slides, it's actually quite a lot of things that are happening. Some items are a little bit grayed out. This means these are things that are not yet done or implemented. They're work in progress, or they're planned to be done, and they will come then with earliest Qt 5.5. Just so you know. I'll mix a little bit Qt 5.4 and 5.5, but I'll tell you explicitly whenever something is not in 5.4. Let's start off with a desktop. What are we doing for the desktop and what's happening there? And this is just some parts. I mean, lots of other functionality that is helpful on the desktop is actually something that's available everywhere. We'll come to that later. One of the focuses has been for Qt 5.4 to get high DPI support on all platforms. We're seeing, that Retina screens on the desktop are becoming more and more common. With Qt 5.4, we have something called Qt device pixel ratio. It's an environment variable you can set, and when you set it to, a ratio or value of 2 or 3, you will get the Qt application scaled up accordingly. This is currently still a manual thing you can do, but it works pretty nicely. We are planning on having this, more transparent support for this with 5.5. We have added support for macOS 10 for Yosemite, and we've added support for Windows Store apps using WinRT. We'll come to that in a minute. Support for Windows 10 is well on its way as well. I mean, we've tried it out after it was now announced, and we got the pre-builds, and it seems to be working pretty nicely. One of the things we've been doing now for 5.4 as well is on Windows is that we have support for dynamic GL switching. OpenGL has always been a little bit of a sore point with Qt 5 and Windows. The reason is that, on a default Windows installation, OpenGL is not supported very well. You need to install the drivers. And even then, there's sometimes some issues. So what we have now is something where you can dynamically switch which kind of GL implementation is being used underneath the hood. Native OpenGL, we can use Angle, which translates over to DirectX, or we can even use a software rasterizer built on Mesa. And Qt can automatically then choose for you which one it will use depending on which PC you run on. And the good thing is that you can make that transparent to your application as well. If you, in your application, use the QGL functions, then your application will also get the dynamic switching. And we fixed a long tail of minor issues. A lot of it on Mac, for example, smaller glitches in the UX, and lots of smaller bugs, some look and feel issues. And these things are important, and we need to, continue having a focus on that and, trying to, really, clean out a lot of these desktop-related bugs. A lot has happened for 5.4, and I hope we'll get a lot more for 5.5. Next one is Qt on Windows Runtime, or Windows Store apps. I mean, it's really meant to be something that for applications that you can also deploy to the Windows Store. It's now, let me start off with the big news, it's fully supported in Qt 5.4. We have full support for it now, and it works really nicely. We have the integration into Qt Creator, we have the compliance with the Windows Store that is required, and we filled the gaps in the modules that were not yet supported in 5.3, where we had it as a technology preview. So we have geo-positioning, we have the enterprise controls, we have Engine I/O, Qt Cloud Storage, we have multimedia, and many other things. In Qt 5.5, we continue to extend that. We're looking into the Bluetooth side and Bluetooth support. We're looking into in-app purchasing. And we support Windows 8.1 and newer, and Windows Phone 8.1 and newer. And also here, as with the classic desktop Windows app, Windows 10 is pretty much working. There's some smaller glitches that will fix until Windows 10 gets released. Qt for Android, also work has happened there. We've done a lot of work on deployment, making it easier to create an APK, optimize the package sizes by really just including what's needed by your application. We've improved startup time, for example, using pre-generated asset caches. And one big item, we've added native look and feel to Qt Quick controls. So, Android apps now using Qt Quick controls now really look like native Android apps. Some improvements to barrier management. Important one is native text handling and input handling. So marking and selecting text will now look and feel native on Android. And I think that's a big improvement in terms of usability. We're now supporting the Gradle build system for Android. And we're also supporting the next upcoming version of Android, which is currently codenamed L, since 5.3 already. On iOS, we have full support now for iOS 8, and with support for Xcode 6. This is in the work. This is coming with Qt 5.4. There's still, some smaller issues and glitches, workarounds that you need for 5.3.2. We're working also there on making applications behave and look more native. We don't yet have a full style for iOS for the Qt Quick controls, but this is work that's currently still we're looking into. But we do have some things where we have native pop-up menus, and we're working on native dialogues for Qt 5.5. But we got the native input handling also here. So text selection and the virtual keyboard integration is much improved and looks and feels native now. On the graphics side, we've done a lot of work, and if those of you who use OpenGL will hopefully see and feel that improvement. We now have the ability to adopt native OpenGL contexts in Qt. So a QOpenGL context can adopt a native one. We have a lot improved support for OpenGL ES 3.0 and 3.1. And we have actually two new classes here, QOpenGL Widget and QOpenGL Window. These are there to really make your life easier. On the widget side, the OpenGL integration has always been a little bit problematic. And that has actually been the case since forever, since Qt 2 days. What we did, and what we always have been doing on the OpenGL side on Windows, is create a native window and then draw into that one. And that had its share of issues because you couldn't have another Q widget on top of that one, not without severe performance implications. And we were not able, it wasn't possible to nicely solve that problem. Now with Qt 5.4, the QOpenGL widget finally solves this very nicely. We basically have a back buffer that we draw into and that the QOpenGL widget draws into, and that we compose then with your QWidget stack. And it will look and feel as you want it, as you think it should look and feel. QOpenGL Window is just a convenience wrapper around QWindow, which makes it easier to use OpenGL on a full screen or on a full window. We also added a QRaster window, which makes it convenient to draw, using QPainter onto a window. And then we added a lot of things in Qt Quick. We added the Qt Quick widget in 5.3, which also integrates Qt Quick, the Qt Quick world, with the widget world in a very nice way and transparent way. It uses the same and the back end the same technology behind it as QOpenGL widget uses, because also Qt Quick uses OpenGL for its drawing. We've now made the Qt Quick render control public. It's a public class which allows you to also render Qt Quick into some off-screen surface if you want to. We have support for Canvas 3D, which is basically the WebGL standard that you also have on web inside Qt Quick. It's there as a tech preview for coming as a tech preview for 5.4. And we have two new styles for the enterprise controls, which actually cover all of our Qt Quick controls. That's an enterprise-only feature. One thing to note here is that with 5.4, we are deprecating the old Qt OpenGL module. That's the module that has been there since Qt 3 times for OpenGL support. All of this functionality that you need is now in Qt GUI. or if you think about QOpenGL widget and Qt widgets. You do not need this module anymore. What you need to do there is, over time, replace all the classes that still are named QGL something with the equivalent replacement, which is called QOpenGL something. We have all the functionality in place now, so it's time to deprecate this module because it has quite a few problems in terms of how to maintain it and also in terms of its functionality. The new classes are much better and easier to use. One new thing that's coming as an enterprise feature for Qt 5.4 and that we haven't been talking about before, so this is you're the first ones to hear about it, is the Qt Quick 2D renderer, as we call it. We can now render Qt Quick without OpenGL. This was something we had been looking at for a long time, and we thought, we could, it's very hard to do. We can't do it. Turns out we found a way to do it now. So I'm really happy about that. We can render Qt Quick fully in software, but don't expect magics and performance then. But we make use also of 2D hardware acceleration. So if you're doing an embedded device that has DirectFB or Direct2D, you can use that one to get really fast, good hardware acceleration and good performance out of Qt Quick, even without OpenGL. Qt Quick engine. Not too much has happened in 5.4, but we are getting a lot of new things in for 5.5. We already have patches for typed array support. We are looking into having a C++ JavaScript integration bridge, an API to use JavaScript from C++, similar to what we have in the Qt script module. Our goal is to deprecate Qt script as well, once we have these changes in place. We're looking at a new garbage collector for better performance. And then also for 5.4, we have the new version of the Qt Quick compiler. Apart from that, lots of bug fixes have happened and some smaller improvements. Bluetooth and Bluetooth LE. Bluetooth LE is something that's new in 5.4 as a tech preview. We have now support for both BlueZ 4 and 5, and it supports currently Linux, Android, and embedded Linux. Other platforms are in the works and are planned for future Qt versions. That's great. I mean, if you want to connect to some devices, also, Bluetooth LE is being used more and more as a standard for many of these, type of, smaller devices that you have around. Another big new feature that we have for 5.4 coming is the web engine. So what's the web engine? Our goal, it's actually there as a replacement for Qt WebKit, which we couldn't maintain anymore after, Google went and forked WebKit and into their own engine, for Chromium. And the old WebKit engine wasn't something we could support anymore on our own. So we went in and we looked at things, and we had the goal to have a new engine there that has all the APIs for embedding web content. It should be simple to create a fully functional browser with it. It should be really nicely integrated with our graphics stack, easy to use and cross-platform. And the way to do that was that we based ourselves on top of Chromium. Chromium has the advantage that it takes a lot of the cross-platform work for us and does that. And we get all the nice we get the full compliance with all the latest web standards from Chromium. So we base on top of Chromium, we have the web engine, and then on top of that we have a Qt Quick API and a Qt Widgets API. So we have full support for Qt Widgets and Qt Quick with a very good performance. And you'll see that here with some numbers. With HTML5test.com, HTML5 compliance. We're actually scoring right now 506 points. Google Chrome, the latest version, is just a little bit above us, but we have way above Safari 7.1, which means, we're really doing very well there. And also in terms of, JavaScript performance, if you look at the SunSpider benchmarks, Google Chrome and Qt Web Engine are pretty much at the same level. there's no real difference in performance. So we really get all the performance, all the latest and greatest web standards out of it. In terms of features, as I said, with 5.4, we have a full QWidget integration, and we can combine seamlessly with QtQuick. We have a very tight integration into the scene graph that QtQuick uses, where we get a really good performance on the graphics side. And you can combine it with things like graphical effects and all the other cool things that you have in QtQuick, like applying a shader to a web engine view. You can interface with native code through the Qt web channel. I'll come to web channel in a minute. And you get all the latest and greatest web features through Chromium. So we're really compliant with all those latest standards there. What we support currently in terms of platforms is desktop Linux, Mac, OS X, Windows Vista and above. And currently we require the MSVC 2013 and Angle. That's because Chromium doesn't compile with older versions. And we'll see what we can do to make this a bit better and have a broader support there on Windows. But this is what it currently is and should cover most of the use cases. And then we have support, of course, for embedded Linux. One more thing to note about it, it's available under LGPLv3 or the commercial licensing as always, whether the Chromium parts would be licensed under LGPLv 2.1. This is a slight change from the other modules, all the old modules which are licensed under LGPLv 2.1. This has been something we've been talking about for a while and has been communicated some months, a month or two ago. We believe that LGPLv3 is a great license for the future, and it's something that really, helps us, also, show the value of the commercial license and, something where we believe, the web engine it goes out there. We want to give it out to the community, but, Digia has been investing that into web engine and has been the only one doing all the work. So there's a bit of a, slight trigger here to also get people to, pay for it if they want to use it. WebView, one more thing that we're working on that is available as a technology preview for 5.4. As you know, we cannot deploy, web engine on mobile. First of all, Apple doesn't allow it for iOS, but it's also too big. You don't want to package that up. So we're looking into a lightweight component for embedding web content. So something that uses the native engine that's available on the underlying platform. And we have that as a technology preview for 5.4. It supports Android and iOS right now, and other platforms will follow as we move along. Qt Web Channel is a new feature. It's something that helps you interact between Qt and HTML and JavaScript. And it works actually with any browser that supports WebSockets. So it works with Web Engine, WebKit, Qt WebKit, and the Qt WebView APIs. So you can use that to expose objects from Qt to HTML5 and create that bridge between the two. Okay, one more feature that's also on the enterprise side, the virtual keyboard. That one is now really has been updated. It supports pretty much all, keyboard layouts except for Japanese and Korean. These are upcoming. We have 5-way navigation support, 2-way navigation support in there, and you can change themes even at runtime. Windows support for it will probably come in the future. So this is something really cool for, especially if you're doing embedded devices with a touch screen. Some other items that we're currently, adding to Qt 5.4, Qt Storage Info, which allows you to really, find out, what kind of volumes, what kind of disks do you have mounted in your system, and, access them. Data visualization has got some new features with volume rendering and lots of performance improvements. And we now have, with 5.4, official support for Qt Wayland. It was working for a long time already, but we've now made it official. We're supporting this. and you can use Qt on Wayland. Qt location is something that's been working on, work is ongoing, and we would love to have a technology preview by this year. Not sure yet whether it will happen or not, but this is a goal that we have. QtDD is also progressing. I mean, we wanted to have it out already, last year or the year before, but it is actually progressing, even though it took us longer than we were hoping for. And most of the architecture is now in place, and it's about bug fixing now and polishing it. Qt for device creation, Qt Enterprise Embedded. We have a lot of new things coming up there, and we'll have a release in December with it, where we update to Qt 5.4, update the reference stacks. We'll have the Qt Quick 2D renderer, integration for Wayland, and multiprocess support. That's a new thing. And we'll have an integration with Yocto, so you can more easily configure your stack using Yocto. And some utility libraries for controlling audio, display, network, and so on. And some help, in Qt Creator to actually also flash it to the devices. Lots of things that are happening there, and it's starting to look really good. Okay, I'll go quickly through one other thing. That's our cloud services, where we have one new feature, the managed application runtime. So how does that one work? What is it? Managed application runtime allows you to run Qt applications in the cloud, and you write your application code normally using a local version control using Git, and then you basically deploy that using your version control system using Git to the Qt cloud services. And then, once you Git push that to your cloud services, Qt, the application will then get compiled. You can also use certain features in the cloud, and will then, also scale up as the demand from the users is there. So, you have one application, and if the load gets very high on that one application, it'll, scale up to several instances. Okay, one last piece, and is to look into Qt Creator and the tooling side. We have been releasing, Qt Creator slightly more, often than Qt Quick, and we have now Qt Creator 3.3 that is coming out later in December approximately, where we have a lot of work going on in the Qt Quick Designer. We're working on something to make that one really usable and have a clean split between the user interface design and the application logic. That was always a little bit of a problem with Qt Quick and the way we used the designer before, where people could then manually edit the designed file, and then Qt Creator the designer was trying to interpret again what this did and show the best thing. It turns out this is really difficult to do, and we wanted to have now a much cleaner split between the two. I think we can now we have now a good idea and a good path forward to create a really good and high-performing, usable designer with also support for tab views and some extended anchoring stuff. Lots of work on the QML profiler, inspecting the JavaScript heap, improving, looking at the scene graph, what kind of items are in there, how can I tune that one to be, more performant, get some annotations on your views there, and hopefully also some static code analysis using Clang. We also have something where you can then create your own wizard using simple scripting and some other smaller fixes to drag edited documents between views. And lots of things on some new quick fixes where you can basically switch between stack and heap allocations, or old style connect to new style connect. And last but not least, a much improved high DPI support for Qt Creator on all platforms. So, To sum it up and to show you a little bit about the schedule, we have 5.3.2 released middle of September, some weeks ago. The 5.4 beta will come, I hoped we had it out by today, but I'll have to say within the next 2 weeks. Let's be careful. That's a very conservative thing. I hope we'll be better than that, and we'll have it out pretty soon. 5.4 release candidate is then probably going to happen at the beginning of November, and the final for 5.4 at the end of November. I would like to encourage you all to try out the beta, try out the release candidate, and also give us feedback on it so we can improve before the final. In December, then, we're planning to release Qt Creator 3.3 and also the next version of Qt Enterprise Embedded or Qt for device creation, which then updates things to Qt 5.4, as I said. Somewhere around Q1, the first quarter of 2015, we're planning on another 4.8 release. And then, in April, Qt 5.5 and Qt Creator 3.4. So this is about the time schedule and the things that are now upcoming and cooking. I hope this gives you a little bit of a good overview over what we're doing. And now, before I finish, I have one more thing that I would like to do and announce. And that's our first Qt Champion. We've launched the Qt Champions, Qt Champions as a replacement for the ambassador program that was being done by Nokia. And we want to basically, with the Qt Champions, honor and give recognition to all these people that are, really active in our ecosystem, that do help in the community, active in the forums, and do lots of good things. And as a first champion, I would like to announce today Samuel Geist. Where are you? Samuel, come on up. Hey. Congratulations.
Thank you very much.
Samuel has been, I think you are by far the most active person in our forums. He's been doing a lot of work there. He's been, doing actually recently also some work on the development side, some bug fixes, and, is active on the mailing list, helping people, very helpful. And, I think he really deserves to be the first one here. So congratulations and thank you. And I think Taro has some, nice goodies for you there. Oh, that looks good. Great.
See you again next year.
Yes, see you next year, and congratulations once again, Samuel. Thank you. And with that, I'd like to thank you all for taking the time to listen to my talk. And I think we have a few more minutes for some questions.
Anybody?
Anybody? There's one in the middle there.
Oh,
No.
I will run over to you.
Jesper's coming with a microphone.
My question is, do you somehow consider to support other languages despite C++ as a core? Yeah, I mean, we have JavaScript and QML, but if the native systems for iOS, for example, go for other directions than C++, is that somehow a problem or?
Well, so far, I don't see this as a problem. We're seeing that at least on iOS, Objective-C will stay there for a long time, and so will C++ actually. A lot of if you think about applications in the app stores, I think more than half of them are games. And many of the games are actually using native code. They're using C, C++, and that won't change in the near future. So I think for the moment, for the next 5 years, we're in a good position there with C++. Having said that, of course, we're looking into other things right now. There's no concrete plans for anything, but, we have had for the long time, Python bindings for Qt with PySide. And, these are currently Qt4. This might be something to bring over to Qt5 at some point. Maybe other languages, but, Qt in itself is built on C++, and I don't think we can change that easily. So the main thing we can do is then, try to integrate with other languages and, make that integration easy. And of course, we will look into that if there's a need.
I just want to ask if there are any plans of making Qt 6, or is Qt 5 good enough and will stay with us forever?
Well, I would never say forever to anything. Qt 5, but, I don't think that there's an immediate need to go towards something where we break binary compatibility and towards a Qt 6. When that will happen, I don't know. I'm pretty sure it will happen at some point. But Qt 4 actually lasted for 7 years. We had it, for 7 years between Qt 4.0 and until we released Qt 5.0. We've now had Qt 5.5 for 2 years. I think we'll do another few years before we move over to the next major version.
Was there any Qt app sold for Android or iOS? Is it that ready?
There are quite a few Qt applications both in the App Store and the Android store. Actually, as far as I know, also in the Windows Store. There's actually, a Qt-based application for Dev Days that you can download from the Android store and actually from the Windows Store. It's also submitted to the App Store for iOS, but I think, because of the change to iOS 8, their queues are a little bit longer, so it's not yet there. Because Apple takes its time to review everything. It's there for iOS? Oh, that's new. It wasn't there when I asked yesterday. Oh, okay.
I have a question. Now we have the Qt company. Do you have any plans on joining the C++ committee and also have a little bit of influence and feedback in that direction?
That's a very good question. We should probably, talk about that offline. I would be interested in that, and I think Qt is one of the main, or biggest frameworks out there that is using C++. So I think it would be a good thing. Having said that, we need to find somebody who has that interest and is doing that. And if I see myself, it's going to be tight to find time. Maybe we'll have somebody, but let's talk about it. I would be happy if we could, join that somehow. Or maybe we find, maybe there's somebody else from the Qt ecosystem that wants to also, participate there. That could also be a possibility.
Okay. Is there a chance that the QML compiler will be free available for the free edition?
Right now, we don't have any plans there. The point here is, our company needs to earn some money. We're still growing, but we're still in a place where, the Qt company, where Digia has been losing money on Qt, and so we need to have some things there. It doesn't help giving everything away for free, unfortunately. So as much as I would love to right now, the answer is probably no. But we'll continue reevaluating that as things go on. But it's also, you should also know that the QML compiler as it is right now is not very suited for open source development if you think about KDE or Linux, the Linux distributions. And the reason for that is that it ties itself to the internals of Qt, of the QML engine. And by that means it's also bound very strictly to the Qt version. You need to compile the QML for the exact Qt version that you're also using to deploy. And you can't guarantee that, for example, on a Linux system always. But you can guarantee it if you do your own embedded device. So it's, in that respect, it's also not that suited for the open source usage. Yes?
I had a question regarding one feature which I feel is lacking in the Qt framework, which is cryptography, especially stream ciphers, things like that for encryption at rest. We have SSL support, which is good. But many platform OSs have native APIs to do cryptography, and Qt could really provide the abstraction layer. Are there any plans to implement that?
That was what I mentioned with the longer-term vision about data security. Cryptography is clearly one piece in there. We currently don't have any concrete project ongoing. I'd be happy to see something happen there. There's a slight issue with it. We need to make sure it's being developed outside the US because of US export regulations. But apart from that, I'd be happy to see something happening. But as I said, right now there's nothing concrete ongoing that I know of, unfortunately. But, let's see, maybe next year.
Lars,
yes.
Could you outline the future of Qt Cloud offering and the direction where it goes and its place in cloud computing in the world?
We're currently discussing this a little bit. We started the whole cloud offering as, trying out what we can do there on the side, how we can, bring things in there. What we have right now, we will continue to support, but we now have basically, the data storage using Engine IO. We have the managed application runtimes where you can run your applications in the cloud. And, we have the managed WebSockets, which allow you to do easy communication. Where we'll get that into the future is something we're still discussing. We're just looking right now with the pieces that we have for feedback, from our users and see what they want, what they need, and then we'll figure out what we want to do as a next step. So actually, we would be glad for any input on what, people need, what people want, and then we'll see what we do.
Are you going to be replacing QMake with cubes at some point?
That's been a long, ongoing discussion. To be honest, right now, I don't know. We will continue to support QMake. So if you're using QMake for your project, there's nothing to be afraid of. We will keep it as it is. It's working pretty nicely actually nowadays. Oswald has been doing a fantastic work in fixing so many bugs in there and getting it really into a pretty good shape. Cubes has been a research project where we try to see how can we do this better, but I'm not sure right now how we'll progress with this. It's something we need to still discuss.